everybody, and welcome back to the Littles News Briefing. Last time on the show, we talked about what a small business is and why they're so important to the United States. And today, I'm going to interview my friend Sarah Gallagher. She started her own fashion brand, and she makes amazing clothing. Sarah is also a military spouse, and she started this company with her sister, which is pretty cool, I think. So join me as I ask Sarah and her sister some questions about their business. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sarah and Hannah, for joining us on the Littles News Briefing. Really excited to be able to talk to you guys today, not only because I'm friends with Sarah, but because they both have a small business that they run together. So we want to talk a little bit about small businesses today and what they are and why they're important. So I'll ask you guys some questions about that. Can you explain to us what is your business?
So our business's name is Gallagher, and we are a women's clothing brand. We started out just making dresses, but recently we launched shirts and skirts along with dresses in our newest collection.
And then scarves as well, which I'm wearing today.
So what made you want to start a business? Was this something that you guys always wanted to do together, or how did that kind of start up?
Yes and yes. I always wanted to be able to have a business with Hannah. Not only are we sisters, but we're best friends. And then since I was pretty young, grew up sewing and always wanted to have my own fashion line. It always seemed like kind of a pipe dream to me, but here we are.
So you wanted to do it together. How is it working together as sisters? Is that because you guys normally don't live in the same place, right?
Right. That's true. Yeah. Normally I live in Chicago and Sarah lives here in Virginia. But we just both kind of know our strengths. Sarah is kind of the designer. She spends all of her time and all of her days working on Gallagher. And I am kind of the creative director behind Gallagher. And so, yeah, we work really well together. I feel like we're able to be honest with things. And, there's lots to learn in running a business together. But overall, it's been really fun and just another excuse to talk to each other and collaborate and learn together.
Yeah, but it's been especially fun. Hannah and her husband came down here right before quarantine orders were put into place in Chicago in early March. We were doing a photo shoot up there for Gallagher. It's worked out that we get to quarantine and work together now in the same place for the past several weeks.
That's awesome. So Sarah, you said that you were sewing as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So is it something that, were you starting businesses as a kid? Were you selling stuff ever? Or were you more just into creating? How did you do that when you were younger?
Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't say that we really started any businesses. I was trying to think as a kid. Our dad is a small business owner, so that was definitely a big influence for us. Just watching him, he owns his own fitness company, which has actually been doing very well. It's a home fitness company, and so selling dumbbells and treadmills and stuff has gone through the roof since everyone is home now.
So you were talking about your dad with how the coronavirus has kind of affected his business. A lot of businesses have been affected or have had to kind of change, I think, their model or their, strategies. Has it affected you guys at all? Have you done anything different because of the coronavirus?
Yeah, so thankfully being an online business, we haven't had to close any doors. We are still able to do direct consumer sales online. But one thing that we have implemented during this time is we've started making masks. It's been really fun to be able to meet a need in this time and do our part. We kind of have a one-to-one model with that. So every mask that's ordered, we make to the medical professionals or those that are on the front lines.
Yeah, as well as with our spring collection, we kind of pivoted last minute. I feel like that's a word that's been used a lot for small businesses, to donate 10% of our proceeds to Feeding America, the organization that's helping families that are marginalized and just having a harder time getting food on the table for their families. So that was another way we felt like we could contribute once we figured out what was going on.
Oh, that's awesome. I also wanted to ask you guys, what was the hardest part when you were first starting your business? And then what was the most fun part of starting it up? And it doesn't have to be right when you started, but just if something like comes to mind specifically.
I think the most fun part initially was just kind of dreaming things up together. I know we always say that the first photo shoot day was one of the best days that we had starting the business, just because we were able to see Sarah's designs come to life, and then being able to photograph and see them as real products that we were going to sell.
Hannah's an excellent photographer, so being able to have her use her gifts that way was really fun.
Yeah, so I don't know if you have a different
that like sticks for sure. That day, I remember talking to you about it, Charlotte. It was just like a really exciting day when I went from like dreaming and working and getting just like ideas, turning them into the designs, but then being able to see them in real life in Chicago on our friends who are also our models was just a really special achievement as we set out to like put it online. Since we are in different cities, that can be a challenge. We were able to travel previously a bit back and forth, but that definitely, I would say, is can be a challenge, just communicating mostly virtually.
Yeah, I will say that's something I'm not really looking forward to going back. Having to navigate just like doing business stuff is a lot easier when we are in the same place. And so, yeah, we are no stranger to FaceTime. So I'm sure we'll get back into the rhythms. But yeah, I mean, starting a business has a bunch of different challenges I think we both can attest to. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I would say just learning what your consumer wants, how to keep true to your style, especially for us, it being fashion, keep true to our style, but also making a product that people want to purchase.
Right. Listening to feedback is super important.
Yeah, cool. Well, I have my last question for you guys is kind of along those lines. What if kids like kind of want to start their own business, if maybe they're around even, parents who have their own businesses and things like that, like you guys grew up with, what's something that they can do now, or what's something that, they, can start thinking about or researching or, practicing on their own?
Sure. I would say my advice would just be, I feel like as a kid, I kind of thought of it as like this pipe dream, kind of like being a Hollywood actress to like be a fashion designer. But thankfully, the way small businesses in America run, like it turns out that you can really start at any age, I think, just by putting it out there and growing it. We do all of our own manufacturing in the United States, which I think is super cool. And thankfully I feel like in this generation is kind of a wave of new small businesses. And so I feel like there really is like no age that's too early to start and just try stuff out. And, I think failure is really important to learn from. But I think that if you are curious about it, you should just get started.
Yeah, I would say along those same lines of just kind of knowing your strengths and being eager to learn about new things. And we've had to learn so much and just by having new things come up, and there's so many resources out there to teach you how to do new things, but really finding something that you're passionate about and continuing to pursue that and the world surrounding that.
Yeah, and also looking for support. I think small businesses are great at supporting each other and finding mentors, people older than you or your same age that are just in different industries can be really helpful. And I know it's been helpful to me to just learn and ask questions from other business owners.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. And I have worn the Gallagher dresses and love them. So I can definitely attest to them being, just awesome quality and just really fun and like unique dresses. So I'm super excited you guys are expanding. That's awesome. And the masks are great too. We have an episode coming out about masks, and I make a mask at home, but it's not nearly as good as anyone can sew. But yeah, I think that's an awesome way to kind of do something new in this time. So, but yeah, thanks again, and talk soon.
Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Thank you so much to the Gallagher Company for joining us today and answering all of my questions about their small business. Do you have a question that needs answering? Get a parent's help and send a video to littlesnewsbriefing@gmail.com. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for all of the upcoming updates on exciting episodes. You can also listen to this show as a podcast at ricochet.com or iTunes or Spotify. For more information on how to support this small business and shop their amazing clothing, get a parent's help and visit shop-gallagher.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you back here soon.